The wind screams across the Ural Mountains, a relentless force that turns every breath into a struggle. Igor Dyatlov presses his palm against the icy air, shielding his compass from the gale. He checks the needle. It trembles, caught in the magnetic pull of the high peaks. 9 pairs of boots crunch rhythmically through deep frozen powder, leaving a jagged trail that the wind erases seconds later. It is January 1959. They have been climbing for days, but the landscape offers no shelter. Igor stops, tilting his head. The silence here is heavy, pressing down on the group with the weight of the mountain itself. They reach the slope of Ural Mountains, a place the local tribes call the Mountain of the Dead. The sun dips behind the ridge, bleeding a thin, gray light across the snow. Igor gestures to the incline. They drop their packs into the drift. There is no debate. They pitch the tent on the exposed slope, securing the stakes into the hard-packed ice. As the last of the light vanishes, the temperature plummets, turning the air into a biting, crystalline void. The team crawls inside, but the mountain remains watchful. Midnight shattered the relative stillness. Inside the tent, a sharp, rhythmic ripping sound tore through the silence, followed by a frantic, jagged slit opening in the canvas. It was not a collapse from the weight of the snow, but a desperate, internal strike. One by one, they scrambled through the gap, spilling out into the pitch-black void. The air was a physical blow, a sudden drop to 30 degrees below zero that stole the breath from their lungs. They did not pause to look back. They did not reach for their gear. They did not find their boots. They moved with a singular, chaotic momentum, driven by a terror that stripped away all logic. They plunged into the darkness, limbs flailing against the wind, feet striking the frozen crust of the mountain. The blizzard roared, swallowing their gasps and their footsteps, erasing any trace of their path. One hiker stumbled, fell, and scrambled up again without a sound. They ran blindly, scattered like leaves in a gale, heading toward the distant, unseen tree line. Behind them, the tent flapped violently in the wind, empty and silent, a hollow shell abandoned to the mountain. They were gone into the storm, leaving everything that kept them alive behind. Months of silence passed before the mountain relinquished its secrets. When the searchers finally reached the twisted tree line, they found the first 2 victims huddled near the remains of a small, charred fire. Their fingers were raw, skin blackened from the desperate attempt to coax warmth from frozen wood. As the spring thaw continued to peel back the snow, the rest of the group appeared, scattered and broken. The medical reports arrived with findings that defied the cold. Some bodies displayed blunt force trauma so severe it crushed their ribs, yet the surrounding snow remained undisturbed. Others showed inexplicable damage, including missing tongues and signs of struggle that left investigators trembling. These were not the marks of a simple freeze. The details leaked out, and the world began to fill the gaps with shadows. Whispers of secret weapons tests echoed in laboratories, while others pointed to accounts of strange lights in the sky, or accounts of local tribal retaliation. The tragedy shed its status as a mere accident, hardening into a global enigma. Every new theory served only to deepen the confusion, turning the slope of Ural Mountains into a permanent, frozen question mark that refused to be answered. Decades of conjecture finally met the cold precision of a computer. Researchers returned to the slope of Ural Mountains, not with shovels, but with data. They fed the mountain into a simulation, inputting the exact incline, the historical weather patterns, and the density of the packed snow. The screen flickered with calculations. A pattern emerged. A slab of snow, heavy and compacted, had detached silently in the night. It was not a massive burial that would have entombed the hikers instantly, but a localized slide that struck the tent with enough force to trigger total, unthinking panic. The physics were absolute. The hikers felt the weight of the shifting slab and, fearing an imminent collapse, cut their way out to survive. They plunged into the darkness, blind in the howling blizzard, disoriented by the rush of the slide. The logic was chilling. The chaos was not a product of alien intervention or secret weapons, but the simple, brutal result of moving snow. As the simulation played out, the mystery shifted from the supernatural to the mechanical. A sharp, cold clarity replaced the years of haunting speculation, revealing that the mountain had not acted with malice, but with the indifferent, crushing weight of gravity. The simulation offers a clean, calculated end to the chaos, yet the data cannot breathe. It does not explain the sheer, frantic terror that drove 9 people into a sub-zero storm without preparation. It does not account for the internal injuries that defy standard physics or the specific, desperate movements recorded at the scene. The computer model is a map, but the terrain remains untamed. Researchers point to the slab avalanche as the catalyst, but the mountain keeps its own counsel. It does not yield the final pieces of the puzzle. The wind continues to scour the slopes of Kholat-Syakhl, erasing footprints and smoothing over the scars of the past. Investigators walk the same ridges, stare into the same horizon, and find only the indifferent expanse of white. The logic holds, but the heart of the mystery stays buried. Some events are not meant to be reconstructed. They become part of the geological record, frozen in the high peaks, waiting for a thaw that never arrives. The truth is not lost. It is simply held by the earth, locked away in a silence that has lasted for generations. On the Ural slopes, the wind continues to scream, and the mountain remains unmoved.